Hello, gorgeous. I'm back today, and today I wanted to talk to you about toxic friends, family members, and how to really know if you are toxic, they are toxic, or if it is a dynamic that you guys are running together. So, this video idea actually came to me because when I was talking about dating and how we need to involve our family and our friends, like your marriage, your dating should be a tribal process, like it has been for so many millions of years with Homo sapiens. And a lot of you guys in the comments and in the chat were saying things like, oh, my family is so toxic, or my friends are so toxic. And I can relate to this. I've certainly felt like this in the past, but over the years of doing my inner work, I have discovered that it's not as black and white as it looks. Like people are not just like the whole world is not toxic. And chances are that a lot of us actually do not have toxic family members. They may just be running a toxic dynamic with us. So before you guys get really triggered, let me back up and kind of explain this little test that I developed for myself. And this test has really served me in my own life to see what's really going on. So, uh, let me just define a little bit for you guys what I mean when I say dynamic. Hopefully, most people understand, but kind of just making sure that everyone's on the same page. So, a dynamic is sort of a dance of energies between two people. So, it's like there's you, there's them, and then in the middle is the dynamic, it's the relationship. So, if this person, here's the test. If this family member or friend that you think is toxic has really healthy relationships with other people, and it doesn't have to be like a level 10 healthy because most people don't have that kind of relationship skills, but like they have long-standing, like somewhat like healthy relationships with other people, that's a sign that that person is not toxic. They are just running a toxic dynamic with you. And what that means is that there's something that you are bringing to the table, and there's something that they are bringing to the table. And when that something and your something combines, that middle era, that dynamic is what becomes toxic. Okay. So, what I would ask myself, if there were people in my life where if we got together, there was a toxic dynamic, I would say, does this person have healthy relationships with other people outside of me? And if the answer was correct, I would say, okay, then this person is not toxic, right? Like they have healthy relationships. They're able to keep jobs, they have friendships, they have maybe a marriage, they have other relationships. This person is not toxic. So I'm not going to walk around saying this person's toxic. Then I would ask myself, well, is it me? Do I have healthy relationships outside of this one person? And the answer is yes, I do have healthy relationships. My marriage, my relationship with my children, my friends, my clients, like my in-laws, my neighbors. I have a lot of healthy relationships. Okay, well, that proves to me that I'm not toxic, right? So what that shows me is that when me and this person get together, for some reason, we create a toxic dynamic. And this has really helped me because it helped me soften out the edges. It helped me do my own inner work without like blaming or putting all of the responsibility on someone else. And it really helped my own healing process. And it helped me not blame people for dynamics that I myself was also creating. So if you feel like any one person in your life is toxic, check it out. Like, do they have healthy relationships with their colleagues, with their other relatives, with their friends? And the answer is yes, they're not toxic. Now, if this person just doesn't have any healthy relationship whatsoever, then chances are that they don't have healthy relationship skills. And there might be a level of something toxic in them, but again, I always go back to myself and ask myself, what dynamic am I bringing? This doesn't mean that you have to let people in your life that you have a toxic dynamic with. Like, there are people in my life that when I and them get together, we just create something really negative. They are great on their own. I'm great on my own, but we just, for some reason, are not meant to be together. With certain people, you can fix that dynamic as long as you don't talk about maybe some of the toxic conversations or things that trigger them or trigger you, then you can make that work. But with other people, There's nothing you can do. Maybe the story that you've created about them or the story that they've created about you, it just doesn't vibe, it doesn't jive, and there's just nothing you can do. But I hope that this video really helps you because these days it's like everyone is walking around calling everyone else toxic. And when I'll be honest with you, when I have people coming to me and they're calling everyone in their life toxic, my brain instantly goes to this person either doesn't have relationship skills whatsoever, or this person themselves is bringing a very toxic dynamic to the table. So the next piece of sort of suggestion of mine is that when you are dating, any of my women that are out there dating, please stop using the word toxic. Here's the thing, men, healthy men, have a very strong radar for relationship skills, for traditional skills in women, especially nowadays. Everyone's getting burned in relationship, and both men and women are becoming hyper aware and looking at everything as a red flag. So if you show up talking about your ex was toxic, your mom is toxic, your girlfriend is toxic, that looks really bad upon you. It looks like you either bring a toxic element everywhere you go, a toxic dynamic, or you simply do not have relationship skills. And even if you're the most gorgeous woman in the room, the guy is going to be thinking, do I want to deal with all this drama? Do I want to bring all of this negativity to my life, right? So there are ways when you're already like close to someone and you're developing, rapport with them, maybe you've been dating them for a while and you have to introduce them to your family. Of course, you can be like, hey, by the way, just kind of warning you, you know, my dad can say some inappropriate things, or my mom's a little bit blunt. You can say that. But if you show up on the first date talking about how everyone you've ever met is toxic, that does not look good on you. Those are not words that I would use in a dating scenario. I have heard men talking, like I hear Irfan's single friends sharing with him, like think what's going on outside in the dating world. And a lot of them bring up that every woman you meet, her ex is toxic, her mom's toxic, all her girlfriends are toxic. And they start thinking, well, I have this like normal average life. I go to work, I come home, I go hiking, I talk to my friends. Like I have a very normal life. Do I want all of these toxic people now showing up in my life? So be careful, okay? Like you can share a little bit of this later if it's time and you have to introduce people. I'll give you an example from my own life. I have a friend that I've been friends with over a decade, and in the beginning of our friendship, this was like a couple years in, we started, sharing a little bit more about our past and things like that. And she told me about some of the things that was going on with her family and friends, and I shared some of the stuff that I was going through with my extended family. And all she had to go by at that time was what I was sharing with her. Years later, she had the opportunity to actually meet some of these people that, I had said, oh, I have this kind of a toxic dynamic with this person. And she was like, whoa. She was like, when we walked out, I remember she was like, can I give you a hug? I was like, I'm okay. She's like, no, I need to give you a hug because she's like, I'll be honest, when you were sharing this, I was thinking, oh, it's probably nothing, right? And she's like, okay, yeah, that was a lot. So if you really do have toxic people in your life and you need people close to you to become aware of that, girl, eventually they'll find out. My mom used to say, you can't hide crazy forever, right? They'll find out anyways. You don't have to walk around advertising to everyone, about all of your toxic family and friends because our family and friends really represent us. And especially when in marriage, people are looking to gauge information about your bloodline and who you are and how you've been raised and your relationship skills. And they are going to look at those stories. They're going to pay attention to how you talk about and treat your parents and how you talk about and treat your extended family members and your friends. So if you have a lot of drama going on and that's what you're leading with, that's not cute. I had a friend back in the day when I was rotational dating and she was rotational dating at the same time. We had this conversation and she was saying, no, I find like it's entertaining, like the men are entertained by it. I'm like, maybe, but do they ever call you back? Like, are you getting second or third days? And she's like, well, no, not really. I'm like, well then, maybe this isn't the place for you to be entertaining. Like maybe this isn't a comedy show. Maybe this is a little bit more serious and you don't lead with how crazy your family is. Okay. So I know that when I talk about these subjects, people can get very defensive and they can get triggered, but this is all part of inner work, realizing that there is a dynamic that we play out with people, and certain people will just not vibe with our energy and what we bring to the table, and what they bring is just not nice. But that doesn't mean that they're toxic or we're toxic. In fact, there's certain terms that we have inherited from the sort of like the therapy culture and the therapy model that is so hurting society right now and so hurting the dating market that I honestly feel like you should stop using these words if you want to have success. If you want to stand out, stop using therapeutic words. Even if they've helped you, even if you've learned something from them, these are not first, second, third date conversations. Keep it a little bit light, keep it fun. I'm actually going to be teaching this on September 5th, 2023 inside of the gut level emotional response course. What to talk about, how to talk about it, your tones, what things are not to be discussed with certain people, and the timing of things and the tone. And a lot of these things are relationship skills. They're really foundational and they can truly just make or break a interaction in those first few key moments, or even take the polarity out of an already amazing existing relationship. But now it's like kind of you're bringing a lot of negativity to it. Okay. So if you're interested, I'll put the link to the gut level emotional response in the description box on YouTube. If you're watching this on my podcast, I'll put it in the show notes. And if you're watching this after September 5th, then you can obviously get the replay in that course. All right, I hope this finds you well. Let me know if this has helped you. I'm really looking to make more videos that you guys enjoy. So the more you comment, the more you give this a thumbs up, the more I will be making this type of content. I really appreciate you guys commenting and liking my last few videos on rotational dating and how to find a husband and all of these things. And it's really motivating me to keep making more. So I love you and I will see you in the next one. Bye.